Bobby Allison of Hueytown, Alabama, has been burning up the Winston Cup Trail for 27 years. The leader of the Alabama gang is a triple Daytona 500 winner and also took out the national championship back in 1983. He's a past master of the short tracks with career winnings which have just stretched over the $7 million mark. While racing has been cut. How close are they as they come across the line? And coming down the inside of the pair of them is Ron Esau. They are 3 wide going down into turn number 1. What a move that one from Esau. He's now put Bobby Allison back 1 spot. And up on the inside too, Esau comes on strong now as he works the back straight.
Marcus went in pretty deep and got wide. That's allowed both Esau and Allison to have another crack. And Allison really trying hard at the moment. Marcus came unstuck yesterday, rushing in too deep. He really brakes late into turns 1 and 3. So the leader at the moment, car number 75, Neil Bonnet, enjoying a fairly decent sort of a gap from Ron Esau, then Bobby Allison, Dave Marcus and Herschel McGriff, followed by Sumner McKnight.
And also picking up the draft is the veteran in the field, Herschel McGriff. There's Esau, car number 78. Bobby Allison sits behind him as they go once again up into turn 3. They enter turn 3, and of course they come off the next turn, which is 4, coming down the straight.
Bonnet, 75, Esau, Allison having a little look on the inside as they go down towards turn 1. Those 3 cars have now opened up a reasonable gap over Dave Marcus. This is the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Down the back straight, literally straight as distinct from the tri-oval in the front part of the course. Allison just getting a little closer. These cars, 1,600 kilograms. They move around a lot on the track. They'll expect to make 2 scheduled tyre stops in this event. And they gobble up about 1 litre of gas per lap. 280 laps of the journey. And tank capacity around about 83 litres. It gives you some idea of the fuel equation that they have to deal with this afternoon. As we take a look at the Castrol scoreboard for the top 5 placings. Neil Bonnet leading from Ron Esau, then Bobby Allison in 3rd, Dave Marcus 4th, and the veteran Herschel McGriff 5th. Ross Palmer's company in the United States, the red coat. That's Jim Richards' car number 1. Oh, and we've got another car really, and in fact we've got 3, 4, 5 wrecks up on turn number 3. And it's a real schmozzle, including Dick Johnson, whose car is on fire. Alan Grice piles to the middle of the pack, written his car off as well. We've got 3, 4, 5 cars there. In fact, 6.
Yep, 6 cars, including Grice, including Johnson. It's hard at this moment.
Johnson's car is a complete wreck. So is Alan Grice. Goodness me, I didn't pick the car that set that off. I just looked up, caught it from the corner of my eye.
There's Dick Johnson climbing out of his car. That's 2 in a week.
Well, he'd almost come to a dead stop in the centre of the track when Grice speared through the turn and slammed straight into the side of him. How he didn't hit one of those other cars before he hit Johnson, I'll never know.
Proudly sponsored by Goodyear. And, of course, being seen across Australia on the Australian television network exclusively, throughout the United States through ESPN, and to viewers throughout Europe.
You know, Mike, we're only 1/3 or near enough to 1/3 race distance. We started with 32 cars. We've currently got 18.
Some of those look pretty bent.
Well, Robin Best, car number 88, tails the field. He will start last for the restart. But 4th fast qualifier. Ron Esau will pace them away. The number 1 car, Jim Richards, we believe is a lap down. It should move to the inside. In fact, the Ron Esau car, amazing story about that. The car was driven, or is owned by Jim Robinson, a well-known driver in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. But only 3 weeks ago, Robinson, who was already committed to coming to Australia, was involved in a very serious wreck at Phoenix International Raceway. And in fact is on a life support system in the United States, in Phoenix Hospital. However, the crew were committed to coming to Australia. They hired Ron Esau to fly to Australia. Ron flew out, was only too happy to do it, has donated all prize monies to the Jim Robinson Accident Fund. And of course, Eurovox car radios came good with sponsorship for the race. Unical 76, the fuel suppliers, have provided all the fuel for the car, and Goodyear came good with all the tyres. and that was just tremendous. So they're doing it for the Jim Robinson Fund, and the car is now leading the race.
Lights are off on the pace car. Lapped cars moving to the infield for the restart. So they've got about 3 parts of a lap before they come back to get the green once more and get back to the serious action here in the Goodyear 500. The first NASCAR stock car race in Australia. And boy, if the 40,000 plus crowd that came in here today paid their money to see some action, they've had their money's worth already.
Well, here's Ron Esau moving back to the inside edge of the racetrack, so Marcus will move to the outside. That should put Marcus back to the lead spot. Double check that for you.
Marcus at the back of the field at the moment in car number 71. Kyle Petty is up there with Ron Esau. Well, these guys that nose to tail, aren't they? Car number 32 in there as well with Ruben Garcia.
Well, the pace car, in fact, will fall to the pit area and will get them down for the green. And as they come across the line now, going through to take over the lead as the race recommences, Kyle Petty was on the outside. 32 tries to find a run down here on the inside, and Jimmy Richards is in amongst them. Petty didn't get the best of starts as they swing through onto the back straight. The Kroger car now comes down the back straight with Kyle Petty at the wheel. And sweeping by him there, going down the outside is the veteran Herschel McGriff in car number 98.
Well, you'd think that that was a case of severe lack of horsepower. Kyle Petty, car being gobbled up down the back straight. So it's Ron Esau who leads. Ruben Garcia in second place. Car number 98 is Herschel McGriff. He's having a go on the inside. And dropping back into fourth place is Kyle Petty in car number 21. Winner of last year's Coca-Cola 600. Charlotte.
Turn number 3, Ron Esau is the race leader. Herschel McGriff coming up into second spot. But on the charge back behind them, Neil Bonnet. He is
News for Alan Grice. And if he does have fractures, ribs or shoulders, that will delay his European Touring Car Championship assault. That won't.
We have a great race still going on with Ron Esau, Herschel McGriff, and closing them all the time, Neil Bonnet and Bobby Allison back through the tri-oval, the start-finishing line. And Allison, in fact, trying to get for a couple of weeks with a broken thigh, but he's serving it up to Herschel McGriff at the moment. He's got Bobby Allison on his tail, and they're all chasing Ron Esau. But Bonnet, the man to watch here as they rush down towards turn 1, has the inside line. McGriff just closes the gap, and doesn't Allison love that high line? He certainly does. He's been working that all day here at Calder Thunderdome. Down the back straight, Bonnet will probably swing to the inside of Herschel McGriff. McGriff is sitting in the draft now of Ron Esau. We have a 4-car freight train going here, coming off turn number 4. Here's Bonnet now starting to apply the pressure as he comes down into the tri-oval, and will try and pitch Herschel McGriff on the inside, does so. McGriff will try and outrace him down to the bottom corner, but Allison is already through as well. He now advances to third spot in the field. And just up in front of them is Ron Esau as they make their way past the slower car coming onto the back straight. Ron Esau and the Jim Robinson entry, the Eurovox car radio car, up into the left-hander, and here is Neil Bonnet, the man applying plenty of pressure. Allison thinking about a run right around the outside. He's going to try and pull it. They're coming down into the tri-oval, and Bobby Allison trying to go down the outside. Bonnet attacks the inside. They're side by side as Bonnet looks for the inside pass, but Bobby Allison down the outside, getting plenty of pressure. Can he pull it here on the outside? They work their way out of turn number 2, coming onto the back straight. It all depends now on race leader Ron Esau, where he sits on the racetrack. You know, Allison's getting amazing grip out of that car at the moment. He now edges up into second place. He's on the attack. Esau on the inside line. We might just have a lead change here. Bonnet coming off a little worse for wear in this dice. Down towards the front straight. And the new leader is Bobby Allison from Ron Esau, but Esau will have the inside line as they get down to turn 1 once again. But Allison closes the gap, and he is throwing that car around the course at the moment. He's the first driver who's been working the outside groove here all afternoon and making a payoff for him. Bonnet decides to have a piece of the action. He goes by Esau on the outside, and all that time, you'll notice that Herschel McGriff was thinking about it. He hasn't been able to do it just as yet. But Allison will lead them down across the start-finishing line. From Neil Bonnet, Ron Esau, then of course Herschel McGriff in the 98 car. J.C. Danielson is the next one back. Then the Coors car, number 19. Down on the inside is Chad Little. Great working of the outside groove on this racetrack to the bottom corner.
Let's check them out on the Castrol scoreboard. Bobby Allison is your race leader. Second spot held by Neil Bonnet. Third is Ron Esau. Fourth, Kyle Petty. And fifth, Ruben Garcia. 21 of 200. On pit road, right side tyres going on his car. There's the Ron Esau, a number 78 car. The car was smoking. Bit of pit activity at the moment. Herschel McGriff coming back out of the pits after his third stop. There's Ron Esau's car. And Neil Bonnet coming to the pits in car number 75. So the race leader, who had a 3/4 lap lead, is rushed in. And standing by is Chris Economaki.
And he goes to a stop. He gets a drink of water. Now, this is an American crew.
Of course.
Yes, thank you, Michael. One of the sentimental favourites here today was Ron Esau. He ran up hard with the leaders in the early laps. But some bad news now. They've just pushed the car behind the pits. Ron, can you tell us what's the problem?
I think it broke a camshaft in the engine. We won't be able to go back out. But I'd like to thank Eurobach and McDonald's and everybody for giving me, and the Jim Robinson family for giving me the opportunity to get out here and run hard and win some money for the Jim Robinson Hospital Fund.
You know how much you'll get out of this?
I don't know, but I think we impressed a lot of people on the cars capable of running good. Maybe we could sell the car, anything to turn it all into some money for Jim.
Right. Back to you, Michael.